What up, Serato world? This is OP here at the Serato studio in New York, in Brooklyn, and I'm here with the esteemed guest, Rashad Ringo Smith, Tumbling Dice. This man, incredible catalog of hip-hop production over the past 20 plus years. Amazing, amazing artists he's worked with, including the Notorious B.I.G. He's come here to the Serato studio today to kind of basically rework one of his classic Notorious B.I.G. B-side tracks, Dreams. Now, if you're a hip-hop head, you know about Dreams, you know how classic that is. You know when that record drops in a club, people go crazy. This is the man behind the beat on that. So he's been called up by a major label artist. We're not gonna talk about who that is right now, but you're gonna hear about it pretty soon, right? That artist wants to take Dreams and basically reconstruct it into a new track to put out pretty soon. So we're using Serato sample here along with Ableton to basically recreate Dreams, right? So you made this track about 20 plus years ago and you using some, pretty dope gear, right, back in the day, but now you're using Serato sample. Tell me about why Serato sample works so well for what this is.
Well, the reason why I'm using Serato sample is because I use Serato DJ and previously Serato Live, and just the fact that I can just take an MP3 or a wave, just put markers on it and just kind of just manipulate it and chop it up the way I want. It kind of reminds me of me being on the SP1200 and the S950 or the 3000 or the 2000. So just having something so compact like that on the laptop and you can just do your thing, I think is amazing. So look, man, I just was like, well, okay, well, cool. Let me get down here. Let me just figure it out and let's just chop it up and let's see what we can do.
Word.
Yeah.
So we got the original sample, James Brown, right?
Yeah.
So basically you just went through and just put the cue points in the same places that you would have made the chops on the MP, but you did that really quick though. That took a couple of seconds to be able to do, right?
Absolutely.
Nice. So we got that set up here, right? And let's just solo this here real quick so we can just take a listen to how you did the chop on that real quick. So here we go.
So basically what I did here was, instead of just looping the whole phrase,
right,
I said, well, the way I used to work in the SP1200 was, I just, to keep it in time and to kind of just, quantize it the right way and just have it stay in sync. I would just kind of get each little piece. Now we have all the new technology where you can you press one button and it'll just chop up every little piece for you.
And what was really dope about what you did with this, kind of talking about those chops, right, is with this first chop here, right, everything's rocking right. You key shifted it down to get it into the key that you wanted it to be in, right?
Yes.
The second chop, we did the same thing, but we actually went through and did a little time stretching on it to make it fit for what it went back through the cycle, because the chop, even though it was made correctly, it still was a little short, so we just did that little time stretching just to get it to fall into place in time. Exactly. So that's really dope, right? Nice little feature there. And then the same thing, having that nice little chop at the end there, and then the loop just kind of goes around perfectly again, so it'll come back in a second here. Boom, right?
Incredible, yeah.
So what we also did, which was pretty dope with this, was that kind of going back to that old school like MPC kind of workflow, taking the same sample but then filtering it underneath to add that warmth into it, right?
Yeah.
So we got that one here, and this is where that filter comes in.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's bring both of those together. So just adds that little extra filter on the bottom of it. Same sample, but just kind of adds that little warmth to add in and make it sound really good, right? Kind of classic MPC style, workflow to it. So let's listen to it just solo with just the filter there.
Yes.
So we'll come back in. There we go.
Funky.
Yep, and you just add it on top. Kind of fills it in. There you go.
Funk.
All right, so got those two pieces together. They were sounding really good. So we started to kind of go in and add some drums. Now this is what I love about Serato sample, and we kind of talked about this today, is having now the cue output routing for each of the cue points. So you can send them to individual channels, so you can kind of do the EQing and compression and so on and so forth. I think that's a super incredible feature to be able to have. So let's go talk about the Q output routing that you did per slice for the drums, right? So we got Serato sample open over here, and we got a kick that's set up. We also have a snare and also a hi-hat. Now what's great about this is that we've routed these each to individual outputs, right? So now we have it set so the kick is coming through the master in that group that we've set up. But now we also have output for the hi-hat and also for that snare as well, right? Which is really dope because now we can really be able to control it, right? For the kick coming out that master, we had a little bit of EQ and compression going on. Same thing also with the hi-hat, little compression and little EQ, and the same thing also with that snare too, right? So now we go and listen to this, and then we'll just solo that just to be able to hear what's happening with that. Right? So you got a little more control over kind of like creating that sound that you want to be able to get. Now when we add that with now the sample from James Brown, the original sample, then we get this coming in here. And to be honest, listening to this sounds like a clean version of what you did, right? Like, granted, you know, this is 20 years ago, so technology and sound was different, but the feel of it is still the same, which is incredible to me, right? That you were able to take Serato sample, take these little bits and pieces, and put it all together, and it feels like 20 years ago, but with just a cleaner sound to it.
Right. Well, I love it, man. And man, this is inspiring to even just sit and be in the presence of this great software, man. So I just want to just keep working every day on it, man, and just keep doing my thing, man.
Definitely, without question.
Yes.
Without question. And you know, we kind of went through and just added a few other little kind of pieces and bits in, right? So when we got towards, you know, some of the breaks in the song, right? So kind of that little top billing kind of fill situation. And that was, you know, a kick that you brought in to Serato sample, right? We're able to set the cue point really quickly, able to key shift it to kind of give a little bit of a dirtier feel, right? A little lower feel to it, right? So we got that kind of kick rolling right there. And then also the same thing with that snare as well. And again, having that, you know, to be able to shape the sound, you know, adding a little EQ, compression, even some overdrive to give it that kind of, you know, kind of dirty grit feel to it. Pretty dope. Increase the level here on it, you know what I mean? Did a little bit of release to kind of shape it a little bit. Sounds incredible.
Funky. This workflow, man, is definitely, I mean, I would tell any producer back from that era to not be scared of this, because this is the way to go. And if you knew what you were doing back then on the hardware, you can easily jump into this. This is not a big deal, and don't be scared of it, because I know a lot of cats out there, don't want to say any names, but you know, they're very biased to this whole world, and I think this is great, man. I mean, I was like that in the beginning. I didn't want to, you know, jump into the whole software thing. I mean, there was Pro Tools, there was Fruity Loops, there was you know, whatever, Cakewalk, and all these programs. But I mean, once you look at something like this, whereas you can actually hands-on just kind of just look at a wave and just kind of put a mark to it, and you can hit a button and you can trigger it. That's fun, man. That's like, I mean, you know, forget sitting there playing on your phone, you know what I'm saying, and looking at Facebook all day. It's like, come on, man, look at this. Don't be scared of this, man. This is good. This is your friend. Right. You know, this comes in peace. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's all good. So
this is one of the first pieces that you're coming with for 2018. I know there's a lot more coming for you. I know you don't have to talk about all of it, but I know Serato sample is going to be a part of that conversation with you this year.
Oh my God, this is going to be my second nature, man, my second thought, man. You know what I'm saying? So this is what it is, man.
Word.
Yeah.
Once again, this is OP here in the Serato studio in Brooklyn. One man, Rashad Ringo Smith, Tumbling Dice. Incredible hits for people like Erykah Badu, Busta Rhymes, Notorious B.I.G. Him showing us how he works with Serato Sample to make tracks going forward in 2018 and beyond. We thank you for showing us what you've done with this track here with Dreams.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be incredible. I think it's gonna be a problem in the streets when people hear what happens with this once it's said and done.
Oh, man. Thank you, man.
Yo,
Thank you, man.
Bless up without question.
Bless, man. Bless.
Serato Sample, check it out, www.serato.com. Download now. Be like this man. Get on Serato Sample. Peace.
Peace.